Graph Theory and Combinatorics, Semester 5, course code is CS309. Myself, Vinmal K. Ishdas, Assistant Professor in Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, Kakinada. Matrix representation of graphs. First one is incidence matrix. Let G be a graph with n vertices, e edges and no self loops. We define a matrix A by an n by n matrix where n rows correspond to the n vertices and the columns correspond to the e edges as follows. The matrix element Aij is defined by 1 if Ej is incident on the vertex Vi and 0 otherwise. Such a matrix A is called the vertex edge incidence matrix or simply incidence matrix. Incidence matrix can also be denoted by capital A of G. In this figure 5.1, you can see a graph with 5 vertices and 6 edges, and on the right side you can see the incidence matrix representation. The following observations or properties about the incidence matrix A can be made as: first one, since every edge is incident on exactly 2 vertices, each column of A has exactly 2 ones. You can see that in this matrix, every column contains 2 ones. The second point is the number of ones in each row equals the degree of the corresponding vertex. The number of ones in each row equals the degree of the corresponding vertex. Third one, a row with all zeros therefore represents an isolated vertex. Fourth one, parallel edges in a graph produce identical columns in its incidence matrix. For example, in this representation, A and B, the edges A and B are the parallel edges, and in the matrix representation corresponding to AB, the columns are identical. Fifth point is, if a graph G is disconnected and consists of two components G1 and G2, the incidence matrix A of G of graph G can be written in a block diagonal form as A of G is equal to A of G1 0 0 A of G2, where A of G1 and A of G2 are the incidence matrices of components G1 and G2. Sixth property is permutation of any two rows or columns in an incidence matrix simply corresponds to relabeling the vertices and edges of the same graph. That is, even if we exchange any two rows or columns in an incidence matrix, that simply corresponds to the relabeling of the vertices and edges of the same graph. Next theorem, theorem 5.1.2. Two graphs G1 and G2 are isomorphic if and only if their incidence matrices A of G1 and A of G2 differ only by permutations of rows and columns. Next theorem, if A of G is an incidence matrix of a connected graph G with n vertices, the rank of A of G is n minus 1. Proof. Let A of G is equal to A1, A2, etc. An, where Ai's are the row vectors of A of G. Since there are exactly 2 ones in every column of A, the sum of all these vectors is 0 by taking the modulo to sum of the corresponding entries. Thus, vectors A1, A2, etc. An are not linearly independent. Therefore, the rank of A is less than or equal to n. Now consider the sum of any m of these n vectors, that is m less than or equal to n minus 1. If the graph is connected, A of G cannot be partitioned such that A of G1 is with m rows and A of G2 with n minus m rows. In other words, no m by n submatrix of A of G can be found for m less than or equal to n minus 1 such that the modulo 2 sum of those n rows is equal to 0. Since there are only two constants 0 and 1 in this field, the additions of all vectors taken m at a time for m is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n minus 1 exhaust all possible linear combinations of n minus 1 row vectors. Thus, we have just shown that no linear combination of m row vectors of A for m less than n minus 1 can be equal to 0. Therefore, the rank of A of G must be at least n minus 1. Since the rank of A of G is not more than n minus 1 and is not less than n minus 1, it must be exactly equal to n minus 1. So the argument leading to above theorem can be extended to prove that the rank of A of G is n minus k, if G is a disconnected graph with n vertices and k components. Next definition. The n minus 1 by E matrix AF obtained by deleting one row of A of G is called reduced incidence matrix. The vertex corresponding to this deleted row in AF is called the reference vertex. Since a tree is a connected graph with n vertices and n minus 1 edges, its reduced incidence matrix is a square matrix of order and rank n minus 1. Next corollary, the reduced incidence matrix of a tree is non-singular. Next theorem, let A of G be an incidence matrix of a connected graph G with n vertices and n minus 1 by n minus 1 submatrix of A of G is non-singular if and only if the n minus 1 edges corresponding to the n minus 1 columns of this matrix constitute a spanning tree in G. Proof. Every square submatrix of order n minus 1 in A of G is a reduced incidence matrix of the same subgraph in G with n minus 1 edges and vice versa. From the remarks following theorem 5.1.3, it is clear that a square submatrix of A of G is non-singular if and only if the corresponding subgraph is a tree. The tree in this case is a spanning tree because it contains n minus 1 edges of the n vertex graph. Thus, the theorem. Circuit matrix. Definition. Let the number of different circuits in a graph G be Q and the number of edges in G be E. Then a circuit matrix B is equal to Bij of G is a Q by E. That is a 0, 1 matrix defined as follows, where Bij is equal to 1 if ith circuit includes jth edge and 0 otherwise. So, given an example of a graph and the corresponding circuit matrix. In this figure, this graph has 4 different circuits. First one represented by Z1, which is equal to E1, E2. Next one is Z2, which is represented by E3, E5 and E7. And next circuit is Z3, which is equal to E4, E6, E7. And next one is Z4, is equal to E3, E4, E6 and E5. So, the rows are represented by these circuits Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4 and the columns are represented by the edges E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, E8. So, Z1 in Z1 the elements are E1 and E2. So, corresponding to E1 and E2 write the elements as 1 and the remaining zeros. For Z2 the elements are E3, E5 and E7. So for E3, E5 and E7 write 1, the other elements as 0. For Z3 which is equal to E4, E6, E7, so write 1 for that elements and the remaining elements be 0. Z4, write the elements for Z4 as 1 and the remaining elements as 0. So we have the following properties regarding the circuit matrix or cycle matrix B of G of a graph G. First property is a column of all zeros corresponds to a non-cycle edge, that is an edge which does not belong to any cycle or circuit. That's the first property. Second property is each row of B of G is a cycle vector. Third property is a cycle matrix has the property of representing a self loop and the corresponding row has a single one. Fourth one is the number of ones in a row is equal to the number of edges in the corresponding cycle. Fifth property is if the graph G is separable or disconnected and consists of two blocks, that is H1 and H2, then the cycle matrix B of G can be written in a block diagonal form as B of G is equal to B of H1 0 0 B of H2, where B of H1 and B of H2 are the cycle matrices of H1 and H2. So this follows from the fact that cycles in H1 have no edges belonging to H2 and vice versa. They will be completely disjoint. Sixth property is permutation of any two rows or columns in a cycle matrix corresponds to relabeling the cycles and the edges. Next theorem, let B and A be respectively the circuit matrix and the incidence matrix of a self-loop free graph whose columns are arranged using the same order of edges. Then every row of B is orthogonal to every row of A. That is, A into B transpose equal to B transpose into A is congruent to 0 modulus 2, where T is the transpose of the matrix. Proof. Let G be a graph without self-loops and let A and B respectively be the instance and cyclic matrix of G. In G, for any vertex Vi and for any circuit Zj, either Vi belongs to Zj or Vi doesn't belong to Zj. In case Vi doesn't belong to Zj, then there is no edge of Zj which is incident on Vi, and if Vi belongs to Zj, then there are exactly two edges of Zj which are incident on Vi. Now consider the ith row of A and the jth row of B, which is the jth column of B transpose. Since the edges are arranged in the same order, the rth entries in these two rows are both non-zero. If and only if the edges ER is incident on the ith vertex Vi and is also in the jth cycle Zj. So we have AB, the whole AB transpose, the matrix AB transpose is equal to sigma over R, A Ri into B transpose Rj is equal to sigma over R, A Ri into B Rj is equal to sigma over R, A Ri Bj Rj. For each ER of G, we have one of the following cases. First one, ER is incident on Vi and ER doesn't belong to Zj. Here, AIR is equal to 1, BJR is equal to 0. Second case, ER is not incident on Vi and ER belongs to Zj. In this case, AIR is equal to 0, BJR is equal to 1. ER is not incident on Vi and ER doesn't belong to Zj, so that AIR is equal to 0, BJR is equal to 0. All these cases imply that the ith vertex Vi is not in the jth cycle Zj, and we have AB transpose Ij is equal to 0 congruent to 0 mod 2. Fourth case, ER is incident on Vi and ER does belongs to Zj. Fifth case, here we have exactly two edges AER and ET incident on Vi, so that AIR is equal to 1 and AIT is equal to 1. For the above theorem, I will explain through an example. Let A is equal to the given matrix, that is the instance matrix of the graph, which is given in the figure 5.2. The instance matrix of the graph is A is equal to the given matrix. Then A into B transpose is equal to the resultant matrix will be first row 0 0 2 2, second row 0 2 2 2, third row 0 0 0 0, fourth row 2 2 0 2, fifth row 0 2 2 2, sixth row 2 0 0 0, which is congruent to 0 modulus 2. That is the remainder when this entry is multiplied by or divided by 2. That is the value of congruent to 0 mod 2. We know that a set of fundamental cycles or basic cycles with respect to any spanning tree in a connected graph are the only independent cycles in a graph. The remaining cycles can be obtained as ring sums of these cycles, that is, the linear combinations of these cycles. Thus, in a cycle matrix, if we take only those rows that correspond to a set of fundamental cycles and remove all other rows, we do not lose any information. The removed rows can be formed from the rows corresponding to a set of fundamental cycles. Next definition, a submatrix of a cycle matrix in which all rows correspond to a set of fundamental cycles is called a fundamental cycle matrix, which is denoted by BF. The permutation of rows and columns do not affect the fundamental cycle matrix BF. If n is the number of vertices, E is the number of edges in a connected graph G, then BF is an E minus n plus 1 by M matrix, because the number of fundamental cycles is E minus n plus 1. each fundamental cycle being produced by one core. So a matrix BF has the form BF is equal to I mu bar BT, where I mu is an identity matrix of order mu, that is which is some nullity, which is equal to E minus n plus 1, and BT is the remaining mu by n minus 1 submatrix corresponding to the branches of the spanning tree. Next theorem, if B is a circuit matrix of a connected graph G with n vertices and E edges, then rank of B is equal to E minus n plus 1. Proof. Let A be the incidence matrix of the connected graph G, then A into B transpose is congruent to 0 mod 2. Hence, rank of A plus rank of B transpose is less than or equal to E, which implies rank of A plus rank of B is less than or equal to E, which implies rank of B is less than or equal to E minus rank of A. As rank of A is equal to n minus 1, we get rank of B is less than or equal to E minus n plus n minus 1. So which is equal to, when you open the bracket, this is equal to E minus n plus 1. But rank of B is greater than or equal to E minus n plus 1, which implies rank of B is equal to E minus n plus 1. So this above theorem can be generalized in the following. Next theorem, if B is a cycle matrix of a disconnected graph G with n vertices, E edges and k components, then rank of B is equal to m minus n plus k. Next topic is cut set matrix. The definition is, let G be a graph with E edges and Q cut sets. That is, the number of cut sets be Q and number of edges be E. Then the cut set matrix C is defined by the matrix Cij of order Q by M of G, and this is 0 1 matrix. All the entries will be either 0 or 1, with the element Cij is equal to 1 if ith cut set contains jth edge and 0 otherwise. Next is a graph and the corresponding cut set matrix is given. So there are actually 8 cut sets in the given graph, which is given by C1. Cut set 1 is given by edge 8. Next cut set C2 is given by E1, E2. Next C3 is equal to E3, E5. C4 is given by E5, E6, E7. C5 is given by E3, E6, E7. C6 is given by E4 and E6. C7 is given by E3, E4, E7. C8 is given by E4, E5, E7. So you can write the cut set matrix accordingly, according to the edges, corresponding edges in the cut set. So these are the properties about the cut set matrix C of G of a graph G. The first one is, the permutation of rows or columns in a cut set matrix corresponds simply to renaming of the cut sets and edges respectively. If we exchange rows or columns in a cut set matrix, that corresponds to rename the cut sets and edges respectively. Second one, each row in C of G is a cut set vector. Third property, a column with all zeros corresponds to an edge forming a self loop. Fourth property, parallel edges form identical columns in the cut set matrix. Fifth property, in a non-separable graph, since every set of edges incident on a vertex is a cut set, therefore every row of incidence matrix A of G is included as a row in the cut set matrix C of G. That is, for a non-separable graph G, C of G contains A of G. For a separable graph, the incidence matrix of each block is contained in the cut set matrix. Sixth property, it follows from the observation 5, the rank of C of G is greater than or equal to rank of A of G. Therefore, for a connected graph with n vertices, rank of C of G is greater than or equal to n minus 1. Seventh property is, since the number of edges common to a cut set and a circuit is always even, every row in C is orthogonal to every row in B, provided the edges in both B and C are arranged in the same order. In other words, B into C transpose is equal to C into B transpose is congruent to 0 mod 2. If G is a connected graph, then the rank of a cut set matrix C of G is equal to the rank of the incidence matrix A of G, which equals the rank of the graph G. Proof. Let A of G, B of G and C of G be the incidence, circuit and cut set matrix of the connected graph G. Then we have rank of this C of G, that is a cut set matrix, is greater than or equal to n minus 1. Since the number of edges common to a cut set and a cycle is always even, every row in C is orthogonal to every row in B, provided the edges in both B and C are arranged in the same order. Thus, B into C transpose is equal to C into B transpose is congruent to 0 mod 2. Now we have rank of B plus rank of C is less than or equal to E. For a connected graph, we have rank of B is equal to E minus n plus 1. Therefore, rank of C is less than or equal to E minus rank of B, which is equal to E minus bracket E minus n plus 1, which is equal to n minus 1. So rank of C is less than or equal to n minus 1. Thus we get rank of C is equal to n minus 1. Path matrix. Definition is, let G be a graph with E edges and U and V be any two vertices in G. Then the path matrix for vertices U and V denoted by P of UV is equal to matrix Pij of order Q by M, where Q is the number of different paths between U and V, is defined as the element Pij is equal to 1 if jth edge lies in the ith path and 0 otherwise. Clearly, a path matrix is defined for a particular pair of vertices. The rows in P of UV correspond to different paths between U and V, and the columns correspond to different edges in G. For example, take the graph shown in figure 5.2. Different paths between the vertices V3 and V4 are P1 is equal to E8, E5, P2 is equal to set of edges E8, E7, E3, and P3 is equal to set of edges E8, E6, E4, E3. The path matrix for V3 and V4 is given by P of V3, V4 is equal to, on the left side, write P1, P2, P3. On the top, write the name of the edges E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7 and E8. And write the P1 as P1 is equal to E5 and E8. So below E5 and E8 write 1 and the remaining as zeros. Similarly for P2 and P3. So we have the following observations or properties about the path matrix. First property is a column of all zeros corresponds to an edge that does not lie in any path between U and V. Second property is a column of all ones corresponds to an edge that lies in every path between U and V. Third property, there is no row with all zeros. Fourth property, the ring sum of any two rows in P of UV corresponds to a cycle or an edge disjoint union of cycles. Next theorem, if the edges of a connected graph are arranged in the same order for the columns of the incidence matrix A and the path matrix P of UV, then the product modulo 2 A into P transpose of UV is equal to M, where the matrix M has ones in the two rows U and V and the rest of the n minus 2 rows are all zeros. Proof. Let G be a connected graph and let Vk is equal to U and Vt is equal to V be any two vertices of G. Let A be the incidence matrix and P of UV be the path matrix of UV in G. Now for any vertex Vi in G and for any UV path Pj in G, either Vi belongs to Pj or Vi doesn't belongs to Pj. If Vi doesn't belongs to Pj, then there is no edge of Pj which is incident on Vi. If Vi belongs to Pj, then either Vi is an intermediate vertex of Pj or Vi is equal to Vk or Vt. In case Vi is an intermediate vertex of Pj, then there are exactly two edges of Pj which are incident on Vi, and in case Vi is equal to Vk or Vt, there is exactly one edge of Pj which is incident on Vi. Now consider the ith row of A and jth row of P, which is the jth column of P transpose of UV. As the edges are arranged in the same order, the rth entries in these two rows are both non-zero if and only if the edge ER is incident on the ith vertex Vi and is also on the jth path Pj. Let A into P transpose of UV is equal to M, which is matrix Mij. Therefore, A into P transpose Ij is equal to Mij, which is equal to sigma r is equal to 1 to E AIR P transpose Rj is equal to sigma r is equal to 1 to E AIR Pjr. For each edge ER of G, we have one of the following cases. First one, if ER is incident on Vi and ER doesn't belongs to Pj, here AIR is equal to 1 and Vjr is equal to 0. Second one, ER is not incident on Vi and ER belongs to Pj, here AIR is equal to 0, Vjr is equal to 1. Third one is ER is not incident on Vi and ER doesn't belongs to Pj. Here AR is equal to 0 and Bjr is equal to 0. All these cases imply that the ith vertex Vi is not in the jth path Pj and we have Mij is equal to 0, which is congruent to 0 mod 2. So fourth property is ER is incident on Vi and ER2 belongs to Pj. If Vi is an intermediate vertex of Pj, then there are exactly two edges, say ER and ET incident on Vi, so that AIR is equal to 1, AIT is equal to 1, PJR is equal to 1, PJT is equal to 1. Therefore, Mij is equal to 1 plus 1 is equal to 0 mod 2. If Vi is equal to Vk or Vt, then the edge ER is incident on either Vk or Vt. So AKR is equal to 1, PJR is equal to 1, or ATR is equal to 1, PJR is equal to 1. Thus Mkj is equal to sigma AIR PJR is equal to 1 into 1, which is congruent to 1 mod 2, and Mij is equal to sigma AIR PJR is equal to 1 into 1, which is congruent to 1 mod 2. Hence, M is equal to Mij is a matrix such that under modulo 2, Mij is equal to 1 for I is equal to Kt and 0 otherwise. Take the graph shown in the figure below. We have A into P transpose V3 V4 that is equal to the given matrix modulo 2. Next is adjacency matrix. Definition is, let V is equal to VE be a graph with V is equal to V1, V2, etc. Vn and E is equal to E1, E2, etc. Em and without parallel edges. The adjacency matrix of G is an n by n symmetric binary matrix X is equal to Xij defined over the ring of integers such that Xij is equal to 1 if Vi, Vj is equal to E and 0 otherwise. So we have the following properties about the adjacency matrix X of a graph G. You are given the graph and its corresponding adjacency matrix X of G, and you can observe the following properties given below. The first one is the entries along the principal diagonal of X are all zeros if and only if the graph has no self loops. However, a self loop at the ith vertex corresponds to Xii is equal to 1. Second property, if the graph has no self loop, the degree of a vertex equals the number of ones in the corresponding row or column of X. Third property, the permutation of rows and the corresponding columns imply reordering the vertices. Fourth property, a graph G is disconnected having components G1 and G2 if and only if the adjacency matrix X of G can be partitioned as X of G is equal to X of G1 0 0 X of G2, where X of G1 and X of G2 are respectively the adjacency matrices of the components G1 and G2. Obviously, the above partitioning implies that there are no edges between vertices in G1 and vertices in G2. Fifth property, if any square symmetric and binary matrix Q of order n is given, then there exists a graph G with n vertices and without parallel edges whose adjacency matrix is Q. So that's the end of module 5. Thank you.